Welcome to the Genesis of the Doctor podcast, where we're taking a journey through the time and space of the history of Doctor Who. I'm Joy.
And I'm Triss.
And for today's episode, we're watching the first and second serials of Season 13 with Terror of the Zygons and Planet of Evil. Honestly, my biggest takeaway is that they had really good sets in these stories.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
The Zygon spaceship is so creepy and, fleshy and stuff, and, I loved that.
Mm-hmm. It's really well designed, and the costumes for the Zygons are also probably some of the best that we've had yet.
Yeah. You can tell they really didn't change much about them when they brought them back.
No, and that's genuinely pretty surprising. They basically made the suits in the same way. I mean, obviously, the CG effect for the transformation changed in the modern era, but, the look of the Zygons is near identical.
Yeah. And, the spaceship vibe is kind of there with the Zygon two-parter, with, the thing underneath the building where they had everybody trapped away. It's, a very similar set design.
It's fascinating what they did with this story, though, because I think it's a story that is actually a lot smaller scale than it lets on. It feels like it has the potential to be large scale, and there's the threat of it becoming large scale. But the actual large scale threat ends up being the Loch Ness Monster, not the Zygons.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
It's very funny to come at it from Modern Who, where Zygons are telling, stories about infiltrating the world and everything, and then here it's just, no, they just took over Loch Ness, and they have a Loch Ness Monster on their team. That's all they really do.
Yeah.
They try to, kill the Prime Minister, but don't succeed.
Because there's only one of them left at that point.
Yeah. I did find it weird, though, how, the fact that they're shapeshifters really has nothing to do with the story.
Yeah.
You just have, the nurse and then the Duke at Loch Ness. They're Zygons the entire story. So, it doesn't have to be a shapeshifter story.
The only times it really comes into play, are the reveal that the Duke was one all along, and Harry.
Yeah.
But Harry's is so short-lived, it doesn't really go anywhere, sadly.
Yeah, I found it so funny how, they replace him with a Zygon, and then it's only for, one scene. He just shows up to terrorize Sarah Jane, and that's it.
Shows up to terrorize Sarah Jane, and then dies.
Yeah. You'd think
and then
they'd
they
want to
decide it's too dangerous to use him again.
Yeah, you'd think they'd want to do, more with the idea of replacing one of the main characters, but no, it's just very quickly.
I really thought when they captured Harry, it was going to be something that went on for, the rest of the story until, near the end. But it was very, very quick. It was nothing like how they did it in Modern Who, with the dramatic reveals and all.
Yeah. The person that replaced Harry was just terrible at it. They were a terrible actor.
Really?
It's very funny how quickly they saw the Doctor and, we need to kill that guy. He knows too much.
They did very quickly decide that he needs to die. There was no attempt at figuring out who he is, why he knows so much. It was just, he knows too much. Get him!
Yeah. And what he knew was
honestly,
he noticed that there were teeth marks. That's what decided they had to kill him. There were teeth marks in the ship. Or the concrete, whatever it was.
Yeah, like the remnants of the ship or something, yeah. Or the oil rig.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating how the story comes together, because I do remember reading that this was originally supposed to be a 6-parter. Then it got condensed down to 4, and it didn't really lose anything. And I feel like that ended up working out really well, because while this story moves fairly quickly, I don't think it overstayed its welcome at all, and I don't think anything feels too heavily rushed.
Yeah. It definitely worked rather well, I would say, as a 4-parter.
Mm-hmm.
I also worth noting that this is the only time Zygons appear in Classic Who. They don't come back until Day of the Doctor.
That's pretty funny, actually. Okay. They've appeared more in Modern Who than they have in Classic Who.
Yeah. They did have like one of the home video things was a Zygon thing, but in the show
Mm-hmm.
proper, it's not until Day of the Doctor now.
I see. That's interesting.
It's just so funny to think that, like, Zygon started with the Loch Ness Monster. You really don't get that vibe from them in Modern Who.
No, no, it's honestly in Modern Who, they're very much the idea of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of story.
Yeah.
Like really pulling that classic like fear of what if you or your loved ones are replaced by ill intent aliens kind of thing. Really playing off the idea of paranoia. They only loosely touched upon that here when like Sarah Jane and Harry reappeared, and the doctor's like, "Oh, are you?" And like they
Yeah.
very quickly able to convince him. He's like, "Oh, okay, this way to the spaceship, right?" Like they don't play into that paranoia much at all. And I think
Yeah.
it's fascinating that the Zygons never really sought to do that. I mean, I guess maybe they just didn't have enough numbers to do that, but the only people they really had were like the nurse, which was a rather strange one, the Duke, who made sense, the like servant of the Duke, and one of them also became Harry, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
you would think with unit invading, they would want to try to take over the Brigadier. They would want to try to take more people of authority within the village. I kind of thought we were going to see a good majority of this village actually were Zygons, and
Yeah.
they didn't.
Part of me wonders if maybe it wasn't originally a shapeshifter story, and just like they came up with that idea later on. Because like I said, it would work with just saying like, oh, the nurse was just an alien, and the Duke was just an alien. Like you could easily do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I do wonder if the Zygons were always part of it, because I know it was originally just meant to be a story about Loch Ness and the Loch Ness monster, and I wonder
Yeah.
if the Zygons came later.
Yeah. Could even just be that they were humans that just didn't like oil rigs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the idea of them being these shapeshifting aliens really doesn't come into play as much as one would expect it to,
Yeah.
which only makes it more surprising that they never appear again until modern era.
Yeah. I mean, technically, we already had a shapeshifter story with the faceless ones,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah,
vaguely
that's true.
similar.
Vaguely. There's a lot of fun ideas here that I don't think the story is lesser by them not doing it. I think it ultimately makes it less cluttered that they didn't,
Yeah.
which is good. But I think it left so many opportunities open that I'm surprised it took like 30 years for them to, well, more like 40 to
Yeah.
actually do something with.
Yeah, probably like around 35 years, I'd assume. Because I feel like we're
Mm-hmm.
halfway between the two anniversary specials here. So it's probably around 15.
Yeah.
And then they come back on the 50th. I honestly didn't have a lot of notes on this story, though. Because, like, it's a perfectly fine story. It just, for the most part, it kind of just goes by the numbers.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is a very by the numbers Doctor Who story, which is a good thing. It's a good story. I actually really enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
I think my only real like problem that I noted is everything that the Zygons were doing separate from their plan of destroying oil rigs, and they were going to replace the Duke at the conference didn't really make sense. Like, why are they spying on the town? Why do they have the bug in the eye of the deer, which when you think about all the camera scenes they were able to look in on, didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Perspective wise, didn't make sense. What was the point in all that? Oh well, if Unit was coming in and they need to keep an eye on Unit, I thought maybe they would have had a scene of they need to bug the room instead of it was already bugged, because the
Yeah.
implication is that it had been for quite some time already.
And it's just weird how they note that, like, Zygons have been here for hundreds of years, and, like, they haven't done anything in those hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Because they've been
Yeah.
there as long as there have
It,
been stories about Loch Ness Monster, which is a long time.
right. And they clearly haven't been taking people the entire time either.
Yeah. I did find it very funny when there's, like, the hypnosis and meditation scene, though. Where the doctor, like, hypnotizes Sarah Jane to not be in pain when, I guess, like, oxygen was being removed from the room or something.
Yeah, the oxygen was being siphoned out in the room, so he, like, hypnotized her into believing she didn't have to breathe.
Yeah.
So that, I guess, if they went out, it would be more peaceful for her, I suppose.
Apparently,
Or it would allow her to survive for longer. I don't know.
yeah.
But
Apparently, the story of that scene was that it was supposed to originally have a practical effect that was deemed too expensive, so they just told the actors to come up with something. And that's what happened there. So Tom Baker just
I
came
wonder
up
what
with
the
that.
practical effect was going to be.
I don't know.
I mean, that actually is a pretty good plan, though. That's something the Third Doctor probably would have done, too.
Yeah.
Good improv.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I do want to point out that I think Harry was a bit underutilized in this story for someone who gets kidnapped by the Zygons and is replaced by one. He doesn't actually do a lot in this story. And I think it's a little unfortunate considering it is technically his departure story. Yes, he comes back again later this season, as we discussed before, but he chooses to stay behind and not travel further with the TARDIS at this point. I guess because technically he didn't actually sign up for that in the first place.
Yeah.
He's happy to be back home. But it's still a little, I guess, weird how kind of unceremonious it was.
Yeah.
And how, in the end he's just like, yeah, I'll stay home this time, thanks. But something about the goodbye for the Brigadier feels bigger than for Harry's. And I guess it's because they knew at this point they weren't currently working on more stories with the Brigadier in them.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Brigadier was supposed to come back later this season, but then, like, Nicholas Courtney was busy. There's a story of, apparently he was supposed to be in one story, and then they canceled it last minute. So then when he was asked to come back for a different story, he just said, no, sorry, I'm busy. Because he did have, like, a theater thing he was doing at the time. But then he was also upset that they had canceled one of his other appearances last minute.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's
unfortunate.
A very unceremonious goodbye for him as well. Where it's just like...
Yeah.
They just say goodbye to the Doctor. And the Doctor just goes off with Sarah Jane. And that's it.
Like, there's something about it that feels more like the end of a season kind of farewell.
Yeah.
But something about the focus on the Brigadier at the end feels like a better, mostly goodbye for him than it does for Harry.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a shame how Harry wasn't really used all that much, just in general. Where he could have stayed
so weird,
a bit longer.
He's such an iconic companion.
Yeah.
Like, everyone that knows the Fourth Doctor knows Harry, but, like, he's in one season and he doesn't actually do a ton in that time.
Yeah.
Like, there's some good things that he definitely does, for sure. Considering he is a medical doctor, he's definitely smart. There's a lot that only he is able to do alongside the Doctor. And they utilize that a little bit. Nowhere near as much as I would have expected them to for getting him in with it all.
Yeah. I definitely think he had a fun dynamic with Sarah, but other than that, he didn't really add much. I guess it's kind of just because, like, he was supposed to be, like, the action hero to an older Doctor, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah. So they had to make him a little bit more bumbling and silly.
Yeah. I will note that apparently Nicholas Courtney wanted the Brigadier to be killed off, and then Philip Hinchcliffe said, like, no, we're not doing that. He's too iconic of a character for the show. We're not just going to kill him.
Why did he want him to be killed off? He wanted to act out a dramatic death scene?
I think he just felt like the Brigadier's not going to have to... He felt the Brigadier wouldn't be required in the show's new format, so he's just like, well, just give him a final story. But then, I mean, he comes back, like, 4 times in Doctor Who later on.
Yeah, but that's only 4 times out of the entire remainder of the show.
Yeah. Apparently he
And I
also...
mean, realistically, you could kill him off and then still bring him back if it's, set before then, kind of thing. But...
Yeah. He also apparently didn't really get along with Tom Baker towards the end here. Because
Oh, really?
the fame was kind of already getting to Tom Baker's head a little bit, so he kind of lashed out a lot on set, and that's going to
Oh, that's
continue to happen.
unfortunate.
I know that he lashes out at writers a lot towards his later years on the show. So, yeah. Nicholas Courtney didn't really
But-
like working with Tom Baker in this one.
I see. That's unfortunate.
He told the story of how Tom Baker was handed uncomplimentary notes and lashed out and stuff like that. So, yeah. I know there's a lot of stories about Tom Baker being rude to writers towards latter parts of his era. And then part of the reason why he never came back was always because, like, if he wanted to come back, he wanted to be the main character. And, that's not happening in a multi-Doctor story.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fascinating, honestly.
I'm going to miss the Brigadier because he was... I really enjoyed having him there. He was a great character.
The Brigadier is such a fantastic character, and I mean, now that we're done with his regular appearances, I mean, he really is iconic. He's in so much Doctor Who. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. But I do think he's really at his best when while he may trust the Doctor implicitly, he also has his own instincts and his own way of handling things that the Doctor, has to teach him is wrong. And, I mean, we know from Modern Era that, according to Kate, the Brigadier recognized that his way of handling things when he was young was not always the best and wants Kate to be better. But we even see, in Modern Era, the way Kate handled things sometimes very much is a callback to how he would have.
Yeah.
And I really like that balance against the Doctor because I think it helps emphasize the Doctor's points far better while also really humanizing, I guess, an instinctual reaction.
Yeah. And I think the Brigadier works really well with Yates and Benton as well, where like they all have
Yeah.
very different vibes to them. The Brigadier...
That's one thing I wanted to mention with this too about Benton. Don't let me forget that. Continue.
Yeah. Like the Brigadier cannot understand a single scientific thing, and then Benton is a lot better with science, but then he's not really a great soldier. And then Yates was the good soldier. Like it's a great dynamic for the three of them.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked that dynamic they had going on, and that's actually something I want to bring up with this. I think Benton was so poorly underutilized this story, arguably disrespected this story. He never really had many scenes interacting with the core cast like he normally would.
Yeah.
And he's called Mr. Benton again throughout a lot of this, like instead of his actual rank,
Yeah.
which I feel like is just disrespectful.
Yeah, a little bit. Part of me wonders if maybe he was just supposed to be like a unit soldier, a nameless unit soldier in the story. And then they last
Maybe.
minute got him back or something.
It's just, I don't know, it's a little unfortunate because normally whenever he comes back, especially in like the more recent stories, he takes on like a bigger and bigger, more companion-like role,
Yeah.
especially in like the later half of his stories, that his presence in this story really is like he happens to be a named background character, which
Yeah.
is really unfortunate.
Like he was becoming more important after Yates left, and then he didn't really do much here.
I'm hoping it's better when he comes back again later this season, him
Yeah.
and Harry, but we'll see.
Especially since he'll be like the only unit character that we know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Harry's
Yeah,
also
that's
unit.
why I'm really hoping. That's why I'm really hoping the two and then get more to shine since neither one really got much this time.
Yeah.
And for Benton, that's disrespectful because he has appeared almost as much as the Brigadier.
Yeah. Been there since the start of the Third Doctor era. Well, I guess he was in the
Yeah.
invasion as well.
Yeah, he was there with the second Doctor a bit. He was Corporal Benton back then.
And I know Benton was asked to be in the Five Doctors, but then the role he was going to have in the Five Doctors was not recognizing the second Doctor, so he said, like, you have to rewrite that or I don't want to be in it. So they just replaced him with...
And they didn't rewrite that.
Yeah, they just replaced him with a nameless soldier. 'Cause, like,
Wow.
his whole role was, like, he was at Unit HQ and didn't recognize the second Doctor or something like that. And he's like, but I would recognize him. That doesn't make sense.
Crazy. And the writers were like, no, you don't. We're getting someone else. That's crazy, actually.
I guess it's because, like, he was going to be, like, a very small role. And it's like, that's literally the only thing we have for you. So it's like, we would have to completely rewrite the entire episode to make that work. So they just didn't see the
they
point.
should have just... I know the Five Doctors has the second Doctor with the Brigadier as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And they should have just included Benton with that, the three of them.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
We definitely... Yeah, go ahead.
I thought Terror of the Zygons was a fun story.
It was. It was. I did really like the story. I liked the effects used for the Loch Ness Monster as well.
Yeah.
It was a good, fun story, and it's definitely like an overall solid one. But the little grievances I brought up are little things that, upon thinking on it more, are standing out to me. Is basically it.
Yeah.
I will miss the Brigadier though.
Yeah.
And
so,
Benton. We have one more with Benton at least, but
at least we have, multiple guest appearances with the Brigadier. Although, I know one of them was supposed to be an Ian Chesterton story, so it doesn't really make that much sense for the Brigadier. Because they couldn't get William Russell, so they just shifted it into the Brigadier. And then it doesn't make the most sense when we get there. But yeah, I guess to move on to Planet of Evil, I really had very, very few notes on this one, because I felt like nothing really happened the whole time.
that's interesting, because I actually feel like this story had a lot more notes from me than the previous one.
To me, it just felt like it was just
think-
like, you're just slowly waiting for stuff to happen most of the time.
There is a lot of waiting, but I also feel like this is some of the most sci-fi they've tried leaning into.
Yeah,
so
that's
far.
true.
Outside of the Three Doctors, where they're
Yeah.
really trying to play with the idea of like the universe, and it's very silly the way matter and antimatter work in this. It's very silly, but I think the ideas that went into this are some of the most sci-fi without just saying, "Oh, we're on a random planet." Like they really tried to work the science and kind of the horror of it. Especially with the way it kind of turns into like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of situation.
Yeah.
With the professor.
It just felt like to me, like, you spend like 2 episodes of them just thinking that the Doctor's evil, and you're just slowly waiting for them to realize that that's not what's going on. And it just takes forever for them to get to that point.
Especially since you have one person completely on the Doctor's side, basically from the get-go.
Yeah.
The initial leader going crazy kind of makes no sense. Salamar going like crazy makes no sense whatsoever, and especially since him going crazy, there's no consistency with it. He like the idea of the leader of the crew being so overwhelmed he loses his mind in this kind of situation. Okay, I can work with that with sci-fi. But him being so against the Doctor, he won't believe anything the Doctor says. But then the one time Sarah Jane points out, oh, it's actually the Professor. Suddenly he's taking a very dangerous weapon. He's going to go face the Professor himself because he's the only one that's going to do what needs to be done. But you didn't believe them the entire time. Why are you believing them now? Even when someone was killed, when the Doctor and Sarah weren't there, you still blamed them.
Yeah. He definitely turns on the Professor at the drop of a hat. It's very weird.
I thought we were building up to he gets to see the Professor transformed, and that's when he realizes he was wrong all along. But no, they just gave him this big descent into madness that leads to his death.
Yeah.
Which is very weird. Um, I really liked the sets of the planet. The ship
Yeah.
was good, but I really liked how they designed the planet and the pit that everyone falls into.
Yeah. I know for the jungle set, the BBC was so proud of it that they had like they kept pictures of it to show like this is what we can do with our props. Like
Oh,
it
that's
was
fun.
an example
That's
that they
fun.
used, but they liked it so much that they were willing to forgive the set designer because he kind of built it in a way that made it impossible to disassemble it without destroying the plants. So it lost them a lot of money, but they were proud of
Oh,
it, so it was fine.
I guess
Like
that's
it's
fair. I
funny.
guess that's fair.
But yeah, like the set design was really great in this one.
Mm-hmm. The set design was great, and for the time, I actually really liked the effects used for the antimatter creature.
Yeah, it,
I
very
think
creepy,
it's appropriately creepy. Yeah, yeah,
and it's definitely very different from anything they've done so far, which is great too.
exactly. Like, there's something about it that actually just makes it pretty cool.
Yeah,
I imagine as the actors, it's hard for them to work with, but I think they overall did a pretty good job with it.
I did also find it so funny when they like, the rocks are changing colors, and then they just zoom in to like a very close up picture of the rocks, and then they color code it to make it look different. It's very funny how they
It
did
was
that multiple
very
times.
funny. It was quite funny. The use of effects were pretty silly.
Yeah. I did also like the doctor mentions that he met Shakespeare and thinks he was a terrible actor. And Sarah's like, well, that's probably because why he became a writer.
Mm.
And this is also the first time we've seen the TARDIS interior since a couple seasons ago. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
really look all that different, though.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't look that different. Um, I wonder if that's gonna change.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
really doesn't look that different. Its use here is a little weird too. Um, I think it's also worth noting this is the first story with Sarah Jane and the Fourth Doctor, just the two of them.
Yeah,
I'm
it's true.
pretty sure. Cause Harry was there from the start. Otherwise, so this is their first story, just the two of them. So we really get to see how they work together, just them, without like
Yeah,
the third extra character for them all to bounce off of.
it definitely feels very much like Sarah Jane's just like doing the exact same stuff she was doing with the Third Doctor for the most part, though.
Yeah, which
It
isn't
didn't
bad.
change.
That's
Yeah,
not bad. Because I think it's good because it means it definitely shows like the Doctor's still the same person, even though
yeah,
he changed. That her bond with the Doctor hasn't changed. They still have that trust in each other and the ability to work together as well as they do as characters.
yeah. And they are definitely a great dynamic, the two of them. They get
Mm-hmm.
along so well. Apparently, in this TARDIS interior, though, they forgot to include a scanner screen, so
Oh,
they don't have one in this season.
that's unfortunate.
And technically, it was first built for Pyramids of Mars, because that was filmed first. But this is the first time we've seen it,
Oh, I see. Okay.
because it was filmed out of order.
At what point? At what point? Well, I guess was it always filmed out of order, or was there a point where it used to be filmed in order and then they
Uh,
changed that?
I know the first two Doctors had to be filmed in order, because, they aired
That's
like
what
a
TV
month
was
later.
back then. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know exactly when they would have changed that. I know I've been reading that,
I
like,
guess
in the Fourth Doctor's era, they've been doing it out of order. I don't know if they
I
ever did
definitely
it in
feel
the
like there
third.
was. There might have been times in the third, but I guess it really depends on what the production schedule was like and how it was handled.
Yeah,
Because the production, I mean, definitely changed a lot once they went to the third Doctor.
yeah,
And then I imagine it changed quite a bit over time between then and now. So,
yeah. Because, like, the first two Doctors, and anytime they were filming, they were just filming it straight. Like, it just filming it like it was
right.
basically a live show, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just, like, editing scenes out of order became a thing later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
That just had me curious about that. But
Also worth
no,
noting
but
that this is
overall,
the
on Planet of Evil, it's yeah. Go ahead.
this is the first story that was actually commissioned by Philip Hinchcliffe as well. The other ones had been
Oh, okay.
commissioned before he took over, and then, he just oversaw them being made, and then this was his first one.
Okay, interesting. Guess we'll see how this goes then.
And Elizabeth Sladen named this as her favorite serial because she felt like it was where her and Tom Baker's characters really bonded, which I guess makes
Oh,
sense
hey,
since
that
they were alone
that's
for
like
the first
literally
time.
what we were saying too. Yeah. Outside of like a couple scenes of such, now this was their first proper adventure, just the two of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And I also just don't
But no,
found it so funny that they called the villain an anti-man, which is just like it's just corny.
it is.
It's an
It
antimatter man,
really
so it's
is.
an anti-man.
That's pretty silly. There's a lot of silly ideas in this story, honestly. Silly sci-fi stuff, but I think it works.
Yeah.
It's the kind of silly, cheesy, classic Doctor Who. Both of these stories, honestly, are like very like what you would think of when you think classic Doctor Who, and I think they're both good stories.
Yeah. I definitely think there's a lot of fun ideas in Planet of Evil.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was very slow, but there are neat concepts they're playing with that makes it interesting.
I definitely think it also plays on some ideas they tried doing earlier on that worked a little bit better here. Like them dealing with people that don't trust them the entire time. I do think was done a bit better here than some other serials, some other stories.
And I did love how, like, the Doctor just, like, knows what's going on and he goes to talk to the beings of the antimatter universe.
Yeah.
This shows how, brave he is, essentially, where he's willing to go do that. And also, like, Sarah Jane says, like, we should just get in TARDIS and leave. And it's like, no, they're possibly going to destroy the universe, so we have to stop this. It is a little funny, though, that, like, Omega was in the antimatter universe, and they don't bring that up in this story.
That's true, isn't it? I guess that's why the Doctor knows so much about it, but it's also like a different way of them getting here and being part of it, right? Like the way it works out is different.
And I guess at this point they don't really want to reference things that are like 5 years old because people might not have seen it. Home video doesn't really exist yet, I don't think.
That's true. Wow, it had been that long since. Wow. Okay, yeah.
Well,
I had to think about that. I was like, wow, yeah.
It's 3 seasons because it's season 13 and that was season 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then the professor does survive the story. Apparently he originally wasn't going to. And then
I'm surprised by that.
I think Philip Hinchcliffe said that, like, it would be too scary for kids if he just died. Which is weird because, like, the villains always die in all the stories. So I don't know.
And a bunch of other people already died in this story too.
Yeah. I don't remember who it was, but, like, someone said, like, it would be too scary for kids if the professor dies at the end. But, like, I mean, the villains are always dying. I don't understand that. I guess it is nice, though, that, like, he gets a second chance once they get rid of the corruption in him.
I mean, it's nice that they did that, but it's also funny how he didn't remember anything from before he got infected. So he immediately was about to go back to the same thing that I was like, no, and he gave him a completely different idea.
Yeah, that was great. Great little scene there. Also worth noting that some of the actors in this we've already seen before. Like, the professor was Jano in Stephen's final story. He was, like, the leader of the Savage, or the leader of, like, the one that becomes, like, the first Doctor, essentially. He gets, like, the first Doctor's essence put in him. And then I think Salamar was Salamar was one of the people in Planet of the Daleks as well. Just like one of the Thals. He was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Weber. I just looked it up. Yeah, he was Weber.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay, yeah.
You wouldn't really notice that the professor is Jano, though, because obviously there was nothing surviving of that. You don't really get to see him in
Yeah,
action
that
in
one
that
you
one.
wouldn't really know.
But yeah, I definitely liked Terror of the Zygons more, Planet of Evil myself.
Yeah, I think overall I preferred Terror of the Zygons, but I liked both of these stories. I think they were both fun, good stories.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to next time, though, because, Pyramids of Mars is right next to it. That's going to be a fun one.
That's gonna be a very fun one. That's iconic, especially nowadays.
Yep. Partially iconic for the wrong reasons, because people didn't like the villain coming back, but, Yeah, that's all I had to say on Planet of Evil. I don't know if you had any more.
No, that was it for me too.
So we can move on to a bit of news. So we will just note that The War Between the Land and the Sea has started airing in Great Britain, not elsewhere. So we're not really going to talk about it on the podcast, but we will be recording just like a special episode about it. Our current plan is to probably just post it on our Patreon, just for free on the Patreon. So you can go watch that. Although worth noting, we won't be able to film that for 2 weeks after the finale. And then once it airs internationally, then we'll put it on YouTube. Just because we don't know when that's happening.
Yeah, so it might be a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no idea when that is. It might be a little bit, but I there is one thing worth noting about War Between Land and the Sea right now, where we're, as of recording this, only the first 2 episodes have come out. And apparently the viewing numbers were better than the last season of Doctor Who.
Yeah, they're better than the last 2 seasons. I think it's better since The Giggle. I think it's The Giggle was the last time they were higher.
Right.
But part of that is just
crazy.
because people watch TV in winter more than they do in the summer. So it doesn't really mean that much, because it's not like a million more views. It's 0.2 million more than I think the highest episode of the last 2 seasons. So it's kind of just it aired at a better time for people.
Yeah,
probably
aired
all it
at a
really
better
comes up to.
time. It might also have to do with how it's, because I mean, in that case, it's more about it airing on TV. I have
Yeah.
to imagine, because we're not in the UK, we haven't seen what kind of marketing it's been on television over there, but the marketing for it might also be very good.
Yeah.
I imagine it might be invoking Torchwood Children of Earth era RTD and BBC TV, and that alone might be getting people to want to tune in, because it's that more serious political drama with aliens kind of thing.
Yeah. I think they also were doing the same thing that they've been doing here, where they're not really advertising it as Doctor Who exactly, so
Yeah.
it can easily just draw in people that don't know Doctor Who.
Yep. Which I think is their intent.
Yeah. If you don't know that Kate Stewart is from Doctor Who, then you wouldn't know it watching the trailer that it's a Doctor Who story.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All I'll say about my thoughts on it so far is that I've really enjoyed it. The first 2 episodes were
I've
great.
been enjoying it too. Yeah, I've been enjoying it too. I'm excited for us to talk about it when the whole thing's through, because I'm curious if it'll hold up the rest of the way through.
Yeah. I might be okay with Pete McTighe taking over Doctor Who.
If it happens, yeah.
Technically, out of the ones that aired, he wrote the second episode, whereas the first one was Russell. And then
Okay.
I think Pete writes episode 3, and then it's co-writing. They both co-write episode 4, and then it's Russell for the finale. But yeah, it's very good so far. And also, as of recording this, the Series 10 soundtrack released yesterday. Which, it's also on YouTube, which is where I found it.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I listened to the whole thing once he sent it over. I didn't even catch that beforehand, and oh god, Series 10 is my favorite season of Doctor Who. So finally having that soundtrack nice and clean, and some of those moments, some of those songs are just so good.
Yeah. I listened to a little bit of it yesterday. It's 2 hours long though, so it takes a while. And I know
It's good to finally have it, though.
I know I've been saying this every month, but the new Ninth Doctor Big Finish audio was very good as well.
Ooh, excellent! I forgot that came out.
It's a fun idea where there's this monster that just kind of like makes you do like the darkest thought in your head, and if you think about what that would do to the Ninth Doctor, it gets very interesting. You know, the Doctor that just blew up the Time Lords is being told to do the darkest thought in his head. It's gonna be a fun story.
That does sound like a really good story, and it really explores the range of this Doctor as well.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I love that they've been like delving deeper into like the trauma that he has from the Time War, because like the Ninth Doctor didn't really do that on the show because he was only there for a season, so they didn't have time to get into it. They got into it a bit more with the 10th Doctor, but like I love that they're, you know, delving into everything that happened to him.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic to do, to give him that opportunity.
Yeah. And then, you know, Rose Tyler is here with her mother in these first few stories as well, and that's great. Great to hear them. And while, you know, something that makes you say things you're not supposed to say with Rose, with her mother, you know, she says stuff that she shouldn't say to her mother. And then they have to deal with that.
That's probably a problem. Oh, God. That sounds like fun.
It's a fun story. And I loved how in the interviews, Chris Waxman is like, you know, the writer of this one is my favorite writer at Big Finish. Wait, I shouldn't say that because they're all great. It's like, you know, she's my favorite.
He's going to say it every time.
She's my favorite, but I love all of them. So I shouldn't say favorites. But yeah, I guess if you'd like to join us on our journey here through Classic Who, you can join our Patreon, where for just $1 a month, you can get access to our Discord, where we'll encourage discussions between episodes about what we're watching, and you also get early access to episodes. And then for $5 a month, you can watch live as we record, where it will be a live text chat that will chat with you, and you can tell us why Zygons are horribly overrated. But for our next episode, which we should just note is going to be a week later, it would normally release on the 3rd of January, but it's going to be on the 10th of January instead, just because we'll be busy over the holiday season.
The holidays, yeah.
Yeah, for our next episode, we'll be watching Pyramids of Mars, which is a 4-parter, and The Android Invasion, which is another 4-parter. Obviously, everybody knows what Pyramids of Mars is. It's Sutek's story. It is also worth noting that Pyramids of Mars does have a Tales of a TARDIS, although like it doesn't have like old actors in it. But the Tales of a TARDIS episode does have like new special effects in it, so if you want to see new special effects, there is still a reason to watch that version. And then The Android Invasion is Harry Sullivan's final appearance. It's also Benton's final appearance, and it's a Terry Nation episode. And this is the last time Terry Nation writes for the next 5 years or so. I
guess we'll see how that one turns out.
Yeah, I think Terry Nation comes back in like the final season of the 4th Doctor.
Okay.
Or the second final.
Wow,
I'm not sure.
That's like 5 years later. God, yeah. I forgot he's the 4th Doctor for a long time.
It's like season 17 or 18, I think, is Terry Nation's next script. And this is one of those rare non-Dalek Terry Nation stories.
Yeah, that is rare. We'll see how it is then.
Yep. I'm looking forward to these. And I'm also looking forward to the one after this, because the Brain of Morbius is in the next one.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be good ones coming up.
But yeah, as a reminder, make sure you watch Pyramids of Mars and The Android Invasion for our next episode. And if you support us on Patreon for just $1 a month, you can access to our Discord and early access episodes. I've been Joy. You can find me on social media at Joy Content.
And I've been Triss. You can find me at ToonTriss.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.